Welcome to Secret Love Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a truth that few people realize. Men do not easily let go of a woman to immediately love another. Instead, they quietly observe, learn and prepare carefully before making a decision. But that does not mean that you will always recognize those signs immediately. A seemingly solid relationship can collapse from small changes that you do not know. When you start to feel like you are losing him, it is very likely that another woman has quietly taken his heart. And the bad thing is, these changes do not come suddenly but are a slow process, making you unable to recognize it. The feeling of lack of connection will make him find a way to fill that void elsewhere. The question is, do you recognize the warning signs early so that you do not get hurt when everything is too late? 1. You come home late from work. He accuses you of cheating on him with someone else. Normally, he understands the nature of your job very well. So there are times when you come home late and he doesn't show any suspicion. But suddenly, he changes and turns to question you every time you come home late about where you go, who you meet. He changes and turns to question you every time you come home late about where you go, who you meet. This is a trick to distract many guys who are trying to get away from their current girlfriend. Maybe he knows full well that you come home late because of work. But he pretends not to understand or intentionally doesn't understand and accuses you of dating someone else. Some guys do this to shake the relationship or to distract you that he really cares about you, loves you very much, is jealous only when he loves you. If you see signs of unusual changes like this from your lover, you should be alert, evaluate, monitor the situation, and not be upset and try to explain to him, because the more you explain, the more he will make the problem more tense. 2. When shopping, he asks you about the meaning of the items but does not buy them as gifts. The two of you have gone shopping together many times, but recently he has been more interested in the gifts that couples in love often give each other. The objects that symbolize love or the items that girls like. He asks you about their meanings. Which type is beautiful? Which style is suitable for which person? Because you think he will buy them for you. You are very enthusiastic in explaining and suggesting. But the result is that he doesn't give you anything. If you ask, he will answer that he just asked for information. Don't ignore this small sign. Men rarely care about girls' things or things that symbolize feelings unless he is intending to flirt with someone and wants to please that person. If he doesn't intend to give you anything, it means he wants to put his heart somewhere else. 3. In the bathroom, the phone rings. He rushes out and snatches the phone from you. While snatching the phone from your hand, he explains that it's an important phone call and runs out to listen in a whisper, or listens there but loudly says short sentences like, "Oh yes. It's me. Yes. Yeah. Okay." He tries to make it so that you don't know what his phone conversation is about, who called, and if you ask, he will tell you a completely different scenario. For example, this guy, that guy from the company called to go drinking. This guy and that guy asked to borrow money. If you ask him to the end, he will also get tense and say that you don't trust your lover. Only know how to be suspicious, jealous and insinuate. If things were that simple, he wouldn't need to snatch the phone from your hand so quickly. He is definitely up to something that he doesn't want you to know about. And you should also consider the possibility that he is dating another girl besides you. 4. He's distracted when talking to you. It's not possible to conclude that seeing him distracted when talking to you means he has someone else. But that could also be the reason why your stories are no longer in sync like before. Sometimes even not knowing what you're saying. When in love, people often focus on each other's stories to be able to share their sadness, happiness. But when they're less in love, they'll care less about each other's feelings and moods. This is very simple because people also have to focus on the feelings of others. Therefore, if you realize that the story between the two of you is somewhat like two iron bars of a train track, then check your own feelings and his. If the cause doesn't come from him, it will come from him because he might be busy thinking about another girl. Take some time to reflect on your relationship and find a way to reconnect before the distance between you becomes too great. Imagine one evening you two are having dinner. You tell him a story at work. That your coworker gave you a big bouquet of flowers today, which was a surprise. Instead of asking, "What flowers? Who was that gallant coworker?" he just replies, really?" and then looks down at his phone, not even remembering what you just said. Before, every time you told a story, he could look at you intently, ask about every detail, and sometimes tease. He must have given you flowers because he likes you, making you giggle. But now, you feel like you're talking to yourself, and he's in another world where you're not present. If this situation repeats itself, it could be a signal for you to pay attention. A man who truly loves you will not let his mind wander during the moments he spends with you. Instead of ignoring him, try telling him directly, "It seems like you're not interested in listening to me anymore. Is there anything bothering you?" That can open up a sincere conversation, helping you understand what's going on. If you followed this far, please leave a comment. I want happiness. That is, you will give us more motivation to make more meaningful videos. If you haven't liked the video, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel to support us. We will give you a heart. Thank you very much. 5. When you have a plan to be intimate, he will flatly refuse. As we all know, sometimes, he refuses to be intimate with you because he's busy with work or tired. You understand and sympathize with him, but that's the reason for him to use it as an excuse to reject you the next time because he thinks you don't know the real reason. Dating someone else could also be one of the countless reasons why he doesn't want to be close to you anymore. If before, that thing between the two of you was very harmonious and passionate, now it has become erratic. Once in a blue moon, but it's no different from doing homework to finish. And in most of the times you suggest, he refuses with many incomprehensible reasons. No matter what reason he gives for refusing, you need to pay close attention. It's very possible that he is being captured by some beauty. This coldness can be a clear sign that your relationship is having problems. Don't ignore the feeling of insecurity. Face it to find out the truth and protect your love. To maintain love and relationships, it is extremely important to identify and act promptly on small changes. Don't let invisible gaps gradually create cracks. Love needs to be nurtured. Care and sensitivity are the keys to holding the heart of the one you love. And here are 4 signs that he wants you to disappear. Let's find out together. When in love, we often hope that the relationship will bring warmth, attachment and sharing. But sometimes, the actions and attitudes of the man you love make you feel alienated. As if he no longer wants you in his life. The sad thing is, instead of speaking frankly, he leaves subtle but clear signs, making you ask yourself, does he still want me here? If you feel that things are gradually changing without understanding the reason, don't ignore the small changes in his actions. Below are 4 signs that he really wants you to disappear from his life. These signs may surprise you, but they are also an opportunity for you to realize the truth before it's too late. 1. When he wants to break up with you, he will act indifferent and cold. But once he really wants to kick you out of his life, he will act in such a way that you will hate him and disappear. 1. Annoyed with your words, actions, and moods. When he wants to break up with you, he will act indifferent and cold. But once he really wants to kick you out of his life, he will do everything to make you hate him. That is why he always acts annoyed with your words and actions. Even when you are in a bad mood, he not only does not comfort you but also mocks and ridicules you. In particular, he does not want to answer your phone calls. If he has to listen, he will listen with an unpleasant, grumpy, irritable attitude. He always shows that attitude towards you to make you feel hurt. Hate him more, and if he is lucky, you will be the one to say goodbye when your patience is exhausted and he is not branded as an ungrateful person. When he wants to break up with you, he will act indifferent and cold. But once he really wants to kick you out of his life, he will do everything to make you hate him. 2. He is irresponsible to you. If you are lovers, you must be responsible for what you do for each other. Especially for men, chivalry and gallantry increase their responsibility towards the girl they love. They will realize that they need to protect and shelter their girlfriends. When there is no more love, both of you break up happily. A decent man will still treat you like a normal girlfriend and he will not hesitate to help you. But once he wants to burn the bridge and cut off the relationship with you, he will consider that he does not need to worry about anything for you. Even when you are sick, in trouble, and even if you accidentally get pregnant with him and receive a blatant denial, it proves that he is determined to break up and have nothing to do with you. 3. He always hints and belittles you compared to other girls. No woman accepts being considered inferior to other women by her lover. Once your lover compares, criticizes, and belittles himself with others, it proves that he is feeling bored when being with you. Because he knows this, he constantly uses this trick to provoke you, making you uncomfortable and hating him more. Through comparisons or compliments, hints about a certain girl, he wants you to understand that he is paying attention to another girl. She is more suitable for him than you. If you are a smart person, you will immediately realize that he is implying that going separate ways is the best. Those insinuations or comparisons not only hurt you but also reflect a lack of respect in the relationship. This is the time for you to reconsider your own values and decide whether this man is still worthy of your love. 4. Always talk about, if only we had never met. Regretting the past is something that everyone has experienced. But very few guys reveal to their girlfriends that he regrets having met her, even though he sometimes really regrets it. And once he says it out loud to express his regret for meeting and loving you, it means he wants to let you know that he wants to be alone. The relationship between the two of you has made him unable to bear it anymore. If he often compares, criticizes, and belittles you with other people, it proves that he is feeling bored when being with you. Men only complain when their tolerance exceeds the maximum limit. We can see, even when you have good intentions to reconcile, talk, Both of you try, but he just brushes it off and keeps talking about, "If only we didn't know each other." He accepts being considered a talkative, nagging person and insensitive to your hurt just to achieve the goal of separating from you as soon as possible. And whether you leave because of hurt, suffering, or because you hate his womanly behavior, he is happy to accept. Don't regret him. A person who wants to break up with you by all means, regardless of your thoughts, feelings, physical and mental injuries, simply because he doesn't truly love you. Instead of regretting him, you must learn to love yourself. Giving up on him can also be a better way for you to find the true love of your life. Signs that he is a passing lover. When a man wants you to disappear, he will not say it in words, but his actions will reveal everything. Small signs, seemingly unintentional, are actually warnings that the feelings between the two of you are having problems. If you notice these signs from him, do not rush to blame or panic. Instead, take the time to review the relationship. Ask yourself, is this the person you deserve to continue holding on to? Or is it time for you to be strong enough to let go to find happiness for yourself? True love is not one-sided endurance or sacrifice, but harmony and sincerity from both sides. Don't be afraid to face the truth, because sometimes the end of a wrong love affair is the beginning of a more meaningful journey of love. When in love, we all expect sweet moments, long dates and devoted care from the other person. But sometimes, this does not happen as we expect. Instead of being the one who loves you, he starts to have actions that make you confused and wonder, is this relationship really love? If you feel that things are gradually changing without understanding the reason, do not ignore the small changes in his actions. Below are 4 signs that he really wants you to disappear from his life. These signs may surprise you, but they are also an opportunity for you to realize the truth before it is too late. Isabella and Lucas is a classic example of how a relationship can change without being immediately noticeable. Isabella and Lucas, 2 young people, met one autumn evening at a mutual friend's party. From the first meeting, they felt a strong connection. Lucas, an easygoing, intelligent and always willing to listen guy, impressed Isabella immediately. Isabella, with her gentle and refined appearance, quickly captivated Lucas. They talked constantly, from work to personal interests, even future plans. Isabella felt Lucas's sincerity and care, making her believe that this was the relationship she had been looking for all along. The first months passed happily. They went out together, shared interesting evenings, and were always a great source of encouragement for each other. Lucas always arranged time to see Isabella, despite his busy work schedule. Every time he finished work, Lucas would call or text Isabella to ask her how she was doing. And there were even nights when Lucas would stay up late just to chat with Isabella until she fell asleep. Their relationship was like a sweet love story, filled with understanding and empathy. However, after a while, Isabella began to notice signs of change from Lucas. At first, she didn't think much of it, because Lucas seemed busy with work. But the meetings gradually became less frequent, and Lucas no longer spent as much time with Isabella as before. The reasons Lucas gave for refusing to meet, although seemingly reasonable, became increasingly vague and unclear. One day, Isabella asked Lucas to have dinner with her, but Lucas replied that he had plans with friends. Isabella's feelings at that time were like a wave crashing, quiet but full of pain. Lucas's excuses continued, from being busy with work to unexpected events that no one could understand. Isabella felt abandoned, and their conversations became short and lifeless. Lucas no longer showed the same interest in her as before. And whenever Isabella asked about his feelings, Lucas only gave vague answers. Without the same sincerity as before. Isabella couldn't help but notice the change in Lucas's attitude. But she didn't want to face the truth. She wondered if it was just a temporary period of tension. One evening, when Isabella tried to get to know Lucas better by sharing a funny story from a friend, she expected Lucas to laugh and feel happy with her. However, Lucas only responded perfunctorily, that's great, and then continued working. Not even looking up, Isabella felt heavy-hearted, as if she were standing in an empty room. Despite trying to share and connect, Isabella felt Lucas becoming more and more distant. One weekend afternoon, Isabella accidentally discovered Lucas scrolling through Facebook and leaving sweet comments under another girl's photo. This gave Isabella a strong shock. She couldn't believe what she saw. But the truth was that Lucas was no longer hiding. He had given his attention to someone else. And Isabella was the one left behind. Isabella's heart was in turmoil. She didn't know what to do and didn't understand why Lucas had changed like that. Isabella began to feel a pain that she couldn't explain. A pain of seeing the person she loved gradually drift away. Although Isabella tried to create special moments, hoping that Lucas would feel the love she had for him, all her efforts seemed meaningless. Every time she got close to Lucas, he kept his distance, as if he was avoiding something. Although she didn't want to admit it, Isabella gradually realized that Lucas no longer wanted to continue the relationship. He didn't say it, but his actions were clear enough. And then, one day, Isabella decided to face the truth. She couldn't live in a haze forever and hope for changes without Lucas's response. She decided to meet Lucas and tell him frankly that she felt abandoned and didn't know why. At this point, Lucas couldn't hide it anymore. He confessed that he didn't feel the same way anymore, and that his feelings had changed. Although he didn't want to hurt Isabella, he felt that he couldn't continue the relationship. Isabella and Lucas's story is a clear example of the signs that a man can leave when he no longer wants to continue the relationship. Cold actions, vague reasons, lack of interest, and signs of emotional changes can be important signals that we need to pay attention to. Sometimes, we don't notice the change right away. But looking back, all these signs were there from the beginning. Most importantly, Isabella realized that when a relationship no longer makes you happy, it's time to accept the truth and move on. If you find the video useful, please share it with others. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you in the next video.